Well, hello everybody. Happy Halloween. And I'm so glad you could join me today. Today we're going to be painting cluster flowers and I'm really excited to bring this to you. So, well, let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to take just one of these blue towels and fold it in quarters, and I'm going to dip into my medium. I'm just going to cover my canvas. I have quite a bit. I have maybe, well, I think I started out with like a tablespoon of oil medium in here. And I'm just going to wipe over my canvas. Now, always I sand my canvases and gesso them over again because I like a really smooth canvas. If yours is a rough canvas, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and use it anyway. But the reason I do that is because it saves so much wear and tear on my brushes, and I love that. Okay, first thing I want to do is take my 1-inch brush, and I'm going to go into just a little bit of yellow, and I want to maybe just put the tips of that in there, just to have a little bit on my brush. Okay, so a little yellow, and I mean very little yellow, because we're just barely tinting, and touch of crimson, just sort of a kind of like a sunshiny color. Let's try that. Yeah, that's nice. See, it just barely shows up. That's all I want, just something that barely shows up. Yeah, like that. Pretty. Okay. Now with the same brush, I want to go into some blue. And let's see, what colors do I want? Maybe a little green. Blue and green. Touch of oil medium. Okay. And I'm thinking that I'm going to have maybe the small cluster here, a little cluster here, and a little cluster here. And they'll be sort of almost like 3 different colors. But in the meantime, I want to have a little bit of greenery on the edges. And this is just crisscrossy strokes. You just want to put this in. This is just going to be on the outside of the flowers. This kind of almost like a it'll turn out to be kind of like a shadow color. If you get some streaks in here, don't worry about it. Just fuzz them out. I like that. Now where I'm going to have some leaves, I want to probably make this just a hair darker. Just a little bit. And since a cluster is maybe right here, just sort of thinking to myself, and maybe I'll have one down here, and maybe a cluster over here. So in that case, I'm going to have a little bit darker right here. And I think also a little bit darker over here. And maybe right here. Yeah, I like that. Oh, that blue is beautiful in there. The blue is what really darkens an area. Okay, good. I want a little more blue. I like it right here. Okay. Just sort of lightly just go over everything. Just make sure it's all blended in. Now this is a 12 by 16 canvas, And this actually, this time, is canvas board. It's not actually actual canvas. So anyway, okay, set the 1-inch brush aside and go pick up one of your 1/2-inch brushes. So the first thing I want to do is dip into my oil medium. I want to get that oil into my brush. And I think the first color I'm going to choose is like blue. I really like the blue. And you know, like hydrangeas or geraniums or whatever, any kind of a cluster flower, a lot of times you'll find they come in different colors. So anyway, just kind of crisscross your strokes, just making a cluster here. And I do want it deeper in the center and sort of on this lower edge, and the reason is because, see my yellow, my sun will be coming in this way, so I want that. And maybe a touch of crimson. And a touch of white, just to lighten that, just a tiny bit. And this comes out to sort of a purplish color. Let's add a little pink. Just play with these colors. Oh, you can just come up with your own colors and just make anything. See, and just keep it real loose, just crisscross and here and there. And I think this time I want to go into more blue, a little medium, more blue, and how about a little mauve? Ooh, pretty. Oh, how about some of this? Oh yeah, that's gorgeous. Look at how that changed it. And see, just crisscross, just making little streaks here and there. These are going to be little petals. Okay. Wiping my brush off slightly, I want to go into let's say I want something very dark, so how about alizarin crimson and blue? Very, very dark. I want the dark right down here. Good. And this can overlap, it's okay. Wiping off the brush again, maybe a little white right up here. And now I'm just playing with colors here. I'm just kind of mixing and just fooling around basically. And I want to darken this over here. You got to be sure and have the dark in here. I wonder how many of you actually love doing flowers. Flowers is not my favorite thing to do, and I'm really not very good at it, but you know, I just keep struggling with it and just keep trying. Eventually, someday it's going to work out for me. But if it doesn't, that's okay too, because my real love is landscapes. I just adore landscapes. So anyway, okay, we'll call that good. I'm just going to set that brush down, and now I'm going to go into filbert brush. I want to pick up a filbert brush. Again, I want to wet it with medium. And And let's go into some white. Now notice I have 3 piles of white here. That's because I'm going to be sort of tinting them. So this first one I'm going to tint, oh, how about pink? That would be pretty. Tint it just a little pink. And I'm going to go into the blue flower with this pink, just because I think that would look nice. Now, when you're going to do these cluster petals, you just sort of, they kind of go every which way. There's no rhyme nor reason to them. Every once in a while, you'll see something that goes together like that. Maybe here, here. And it's like a 1, 2, 3, and then a little crisscross. And maybe here. And maybe there's only 2 petals here. Maybe a petal and a loose petal. See, the petals just, you can just stick them anywhere. Let's have a few just dropping out here. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, wipe the brush. I'm going to go into medium again. And this time I'm going to go into, how about some blue this time? And into the white. And again, we're just going to go on the outside here. 1, 2, 3, cross. This can go into the pink, that's not a problem. And these outer edges, see, you want these little pieces to stick out every once in a while. Can be 2 or 3 petals. These are just suggestions. They're not really petals at all. And see, I've always got this little bit of white on the brush. So the white does show off. It does show up. And oh, I like that. Okay. And for this one, let's do maybe a little, how about a little mauve into the white? Because remember, they're just all different colors. Oh, pretty. And if you feel your brush is getting low with paint, then just go ahead and add some more. Okay. And I'm going to set this brush aside now because I'm done with this. Now I want to grab my secondary flat brush, my 1/2-inch brush, into the medium, and this time let's get rid of this red here. I don't want that there. Okay, dip into the oil medium, and let's go into some blue and green. And I want to have, we did some dark down here, so let's do a leaf down here. Now I did a video on doing leaves previously, which you can refer to. Not quite slick enough here. This has to be really slippery. And actually I'm going to add maybe a touch of yellow, because that's an awful deep green. I don't want it quite that deep. There, that's better. Okay. Okay, let's have another one. Maybe we'll do two of them right here. Okay, do you remember how we did those? More medium, green, blue. Maybe this one's over, well, no, let's do this one. There, pretty, I like that. Make sure the way you can tell if you have enough medium is it will feel very slippery when you're pulling your brush. If you don't have enough medium, it's going to drag and it's going to feel really, really strange. I think here, let's go ahead and have 3 leaves. I'm just going to crisscross here and here, maybe one here. You can tell I'm being really careful, huh? Not. Okay, again, reload. This is just using blue and green. If you want to use some different colors, that's fine. Let's do one here. Oh, those are turning out very nice. We could do one more here. That one's sticking up a little bit more. That's good. That kind of breaks it up a little bit. I think I'm going to call that good. And this time I want to go into some yellow. Make sure it feels nice and slippery. And because my light is coming in here, we're going to hit the left side of the leaves. I'm hoping this is not too glary for you. Okay, so the left side of the leaves. Just a little bit on this side. And how about here? Whoops, there. See, I'm just hitting the tips. Wipe that off because I'm getting it kind of gooey. I want to keep my yellow. So let's go in this side. And this side. See how that kind of brought that leaf forward? Let's go into, let's see, where would the light be hitting here? Maybe, maybe just on the tips. Like so. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, this time I want to go into turquoise. Oh, I love this turquoise blue. Gorgeous, just a gorgeous, gorgeous color. Right down here, so maybe this leaf is kind of curling, so this would be more on the underside. There. Reload. This would be on the underside. Reload again. Now this one you wouldn't see too much, but a little bit. And over here, there. Okie dokie. Next, I want to do just a little bit of a stem here. Kind of make a little bit of a curve. Okay. So let's go into a little blue, and maybe there's just a few of them out here. Maybe a couple little darker blue. See, you're kind of breaking up that edge, making it sort of, so it's just not all just a little ball. A little bit of purplish. Yeah, there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get a clean brush because now I want to go into pure white. And so get the brush wet. And let's see, we'll go into this, this sort of a, how about this one, turquoise first. We'll go into this, pull out the white. And this time, this is your highlight. You want this, you'll have a little spot in each flower that's highlighted. And so what you want to do is make one beautiful flower. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one. And maybe there's one here. And maybe there's one here. And if you start seeing your tips get dirty, just wipe it off. Go back into fresh white. Maybe there's one here. Maybe there's just a couple of highlights here and there. But you want to keep the focus right in the middle there. Okay. More medium, and let's go into more white, but this time we'll go in this blue. And we'll make one nice flower. And maybe one here. And here. Maybe here. Okay. I love that pink. But pink and white, mostly white. And we'll have one here. Well, let's go right about here. Here, 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 here. I picked up a lot, so I'm going to wipe off the brush. Medium again, back into the white. And if that didn't come out white enough, like this really did not come out as much as I wanted, okay, I'm just going to hit it again. There. More white and pink. And maybe there's one here. And see, sometimes you can hit the flat of your brush like this, and then sometimes you can hit the side. And it still makes the impression of a flower even though it's not the whole flower. Now remember, I'm no expert at flowers, but I doodle around. And once I get into it, I really have a good time. I just really enjoy it. But boy, getting me into it is really a difficult job. Okay, well, let's call that good, because I don't want to highlight too much, otherwise it becomes distracting. But what I would like to do now is load this brush again with white. Excuse me, with medium. Make sure it's wet. Maybe that was a little too wet. Okay, let's go into this blue and white here. Now, do you remember how we made daisies before? I think daisies just look fantastic in here. So let's do one. Let's do one here. Well, let's do one facing this way. 1, 2, 3. Load again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a cute daisy. Okay, back into your white. Maybe there's one up here facing this way. That picked up green, so I'm just wiping it off a little. So we've got one daisy facing this way, one daisy facing this way. And I need to highlight that a little bit more, because it picked up really a lot of green. There, that's better. Okay, more white, more white. Let's have another daisy. Where will we put it? How about down here? Let's have it facing this way. Be sure and wipe your brush off a lot in between. I'd like one over here, and we'll have it facing out this way. And that is just lovely. I don't want to do anything more than that. That's plenty. So wipe the brush off, and with your yellow, just pure yellow, just dip your brush in. Can you see that little bit of paint there? Just a dippy dab. All we're going to do is just touch. Now I only want to do the clusters. Wipe it off, reload, little yellow. Not all the clusters, but just pick out a few that you think would probably have a little bit of a center. That's probably good. And then with that, wipe off again. And then with that yellow and crimson, you'll get that sort of a orangey color, a little more yellow. And that's a daisy center. So daisy center. And I think that's it. So that's my rendition of how to do a cluster flower. So all we need to do is sign it somewhere, and there you go. Well, we've come to a close of another video, and I sure hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you pick up brushes and try cluster flowers. So anyway, well, I guess that's all. I've blabbered on enough. You have a great day. Bye-bye.